What's up guys, Shane here. So ever since I bought my first iPad in a long while, I'm talking about this 12.9-inch iPad Pro M1 2021, I have been very extra. I bought a 1,549 ringgit keyboard case for my iPad Pro just to buy another case for the case itself. And in case I didn't make my case yet, I've dived into the rabbit hole for months, hunting down, get it, the 15 best accessories that you need to buy for your 12.9-inch iPad Pro M1. But of course, most of these should still work with other iPad models or have variants that support them. Let's get peeling.
Not cracking, man?
Apple ma, peel lah. What are we? Androids? So today we have 15 items to share with you guys, and I'm gonna start with that box.
This one?
No, that box.
This one?
No, the OtterBox. Because this video is brought to you by none other than OtterBox Malaysia. They make some of the toughest cases and accessories for your Apple and okay, some Android devices. True story, I once dropped my iPhone 4 from a 2-story building during a site visit and it came out without a scratch thanks to an OtterBox case. And if you're interested in picking out any of these products, we have a special 5% discount for you guys. Links in the description. Now because this video is gonna be quite long, feel free to click on the timestamps below to skip to whichever product you're actually interested in. Firstly, let's start with the screen protectors. Now there are two main types. We have the tempered glass one like this Spigen Glaster Slim that is at 119 ringgit, and this matte one, matte paper-like one like the Switch Easy Switch paper, not the actual paper-like one. Personally, if you're gonna draw a lot, go with the paper-like. Otherwise, just stick to the tempered glass one or sapphire ones because the paper-like ones will dim your beautiful mini LED screen quite a bit, and this makes it harder to use the iPad Pro in say broad daylight or outdoors under the sun, not to mention eat up your battery life since you'll have to crank up your brightness quite a bit more compared to having no screen protector or with the tempered glass one on. And also the paper-like ones will wear out the tip of your Apple Pencil quite a bit, so remember to buy some spares, which brings us to, well, the Apple Pencil 2nd generation. Now this remains one of the best styluses on the market today. Of course, we have the silicone case on from Shopee to give it a better grip, and this is just a cheap one that still works with the magnetic charging. So wait, let me find it. There you go. I've been drawing with Wacom tablets since I was 10, flex. But this thing still impresses me every day. Of course, Procreate will take a little getting used to versus Photoshop, but nothing beats having a portable surface that you can draw and see on the go. Next, of course, we have the cases. Firstly, for those who like a super minimal case at an affordable price, I recommend this Spigen Liquid Air Folio at 169 ringgit, which has a pretty rigid dark frosted back cover and a foldable front cover. Very slim yet protective, and it takes up less space in your bag. We also found this Loud Wax Folio for 30 ringgit less that is similar but has less protection for the edges of your iPad, but it does come with an Apple Pencil sleeve right here, so that's pretty good as well. Next, we have the OtterBox Symmetry 360 Elite priced at 399 ringgit, which is probably my favorite of the bunch, not because it's the most expensive, but because it comes with a substantial acrylic back cover that is so clear that shows off your iPad Pro's birthday suit inside, but it's also a fingerprint magnet lah. And it has a nice synthetic rubber bumper along the edges. The smartest feature for me would actually be this collapsible magnetic Apple Pencil holder, as you can see right here. You can take your Apple Pencil that is very mahal and just stick it in, and it will charge and stay in there safe and protected throughout all your travels. One of the biggest reasons that people have been losing their 549 ringgit Apple Pencil 2nd generation is that when they take in and take out their iPad Pro from their bag, right, the pencil will just drop out and roll away, rock and roll. So, remember, it is 549 ringgit, so come on lah, get something like this. Very good. See? Cannot drop one. Drop test approved. In terms of a keyboard case, the Apple Magic Keyboard is still my favorite after testing out a couple of other third-party ones. Because the third-party ones might be cheaper, easier, and know how to party, but they might not always work. It has an excellent build quality with a very cool floating cantilever design. Okay, fine, I'm an architect, sue me. So your iPad can just attach to it magnetically, and it also doubles up as a stand. Also, thanks to the weight in that keyboard deck, you won't even need a kickstand behind the iPad Pro, which makes it very comfy to use on your lap, like this, you see? The backlit keyboard also feels really nice to type with thanks to that rigid keyboard deck and a good amount of travel in the key switches. Of course, typing experience is very subjective, so you might like the one, say, on the Logitech keyboard case instead. But one thing is for sure, you won't find a smoother touchpad than this one, which is very useful if you don't want to carry a mouse around. Here's a simple keyboard sound test for your reference. I also like how you can charge the iPad Pro straight off the USB-C port at the side of the Magic Keyboard, since it uses the smart connector on the iPad Pro to connect to the iPad Pro, which frees up the USB-C port on your iPad Pro for other accessories, so that's pretty handy to have. The only couple of downsides I have with this Apple Magic Keyboard is firstly, the weight. This thing weighs 710 grams, which is heavier than the iPad Pro itself at 641 grams. Together at 1.3 kilograms, this package is heavier than the MacBook Air, that's also cheaper and closer to the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Honestly, this kind of defeats the purpose of having an iPad when it comes to portability and value, unless you're going to draw a lot on it and you need that touchscreen, in my opinion. Secondly, this case does not protect the edges of your device whatsoever. As you can see, it's all naked, okay? Which brings us to this 437 ringgit Pitaka Mac Easy case that also has the smart connector that can pass through so you can use your Magic Keyboard with it. Now, I bought this case before I found this Switch Easy cover buddy for half the price at 199 ringgit. It even comes with an Apple Pencil holder, as you can see right here, so it's pretty handy to have. The only gripe I have with this is the plastic piece right here getting in the way of the buttons sometimes, but hey, it's half the price. I'm not complaining. Moving on, I have something that will help your iPad Pro work better for pro applications. I'm talking about this Acasis 10-in-1 USB-C hub. If you use your iPad Pro to edit videos or photos or do more serious creative workloads, this thing is actually really useful. Comment down below if you want a proper review on this on a later date, but the gist of it is that you'll get additional USB ports, an audio jack because us content creators need good audio, SD card slots, an Ethernet port, and a full-size HDMI port. The killer feature is actually that M.2 PCIe SSD slot that allows you to expand your iPad Pro's storage when you need to. Honestly, I've never been that guy to buy Apple products with the highest possible storage capacity because it just makes zero sense to me from an economical and also practical standpoint. If I'm going to be using a larger capacity storage with my iPad Pro, it's mostly going to be for temporary purposes such as video editing, where I would import the recorded media from my camera, edit it, and delete the source files after I export the video and render it to make space for other projects. 256 or 512 gigabytes of internal storage for an iPad Pro is plenty, since these days we stream most of our media anyways. If I get this Acasis hub plus a 2TB M.2 SSD like the Corsair MP510 with say the 256 gigabyte version of the 12.9-inch iPad Pro M1, I'll be spending 5,249 ringgit for the iPad, 1,500 ringgit each for the SSD, and 459 ringgit for this hub for a total of 7,208 ringgit. And I get the 10-in-1 hub as well. Or I could go cheaper for a simpler M.2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 enclosure like this from Orico for about 70 ringgit and bring that cost down to 6,819 ringgit. And that is 3,000 ringgit cheaper than the 9,749 ringgit that Apple is charging for the 2TB version of this iPad Pro M1 2021. So really, it's a no-brainer. Moving on, we have some products to help you improve your quality of life, and I'm going to start with one of the biggest first world problems that I've ever experienced as a newly anointed backsliding Apple product user, which is This plug, actually no, this plug is very nice and handy. It's very nifty and small. I like it very much. Actually, this extremely ridiculously short cable. Now, this is the USB-C cable that came with the iPad Pro. If I ever use this cable with this plug, say with a surge protector on the floor, it will never reach your iPad Pro on the desk because it's just too short. And just like your boyfriend, if your cable is too short, do you know what you do? Just get a longer one lah. I'm talking about length in terms of height. What are you thinking? Which is why I picked up one of the most ridiculously over-engineered USB-C cables that I've ever seen. This is the 1.8 meter OtterBox USB-C to USB-C, a 3.2 Gen 1 cable for 109 ringgit. In case you don't know this, the iPad Pro M1 2021 is a little picky when it comes to USB-C cables. Some of your cheaper chap ayam cables might not even charge the iPad, especially with the Magic Keyboard. Speaking from cheapskate experience. This OtterBox one is super thick and reinforced that I've abused it as much as I can for the past couple of months. I've even walked Buffy with it and it survived. I expect it to last a long time. That's what she said. To complement this black go-go look that I like, I've also picked up this OtterBox wall charger for 169 ringgit, mainly because of the price, so that I can charge both my phone as well as my iPad Pro, because it has two USB-C power delivery ports, 130 watt and 120 watt. This thing can charge your iPad Pro quite fast, about 0 to 30% in about half an hour. Then for portable power, I have Rev Power, and this is the Rev Power PD Pioneer 10,000 milliamp power bank. Rev Power is a pretty reliable brand. This power bank itself is also very slim and nice, but the most important thing is actually that 18 watt USB-C power delivery, so that you can give your iPad Pro a quick top up wherever you go. To carry all these stuff on the go, I have a very special bag that has been in my EDC kit for months now, and this is the Greenroom 136 Metro Monger Prime Edition for 750 ringgit that is actually made in Malaysia. It is a single strap bag with a very comfortable padded strap and a GR Cobra side release buckle. The bag is very well made with a VX42 laminated X-Pack fabric on the outside and a 420 denier nylon ripstop inside in a golden Oxford color, as you can see. Simply gorgeous. And these are also YKK zippers that are extremely smooth, as you can see. I'm also a big fan of this 3-compartment design with plenty of pockets to carry all your knickknacks and tech accessories. You can even fit a kit pouch from Greenroom 136 into here, the medium-sized one, to carry your camera as you go to do your stuff. Now technically it does support the 12.9-inch iPad Pro M1 if you're using it naked, say, or with a slimmer case, but if you're using it with a thicker case, like with the Magic Keyboard, you're gonna have to use the main compartment to store your iPad Pro 12.9-inch M1. I'm still waiting for a slightly larger one from Greenroom 136, and I'm gonna grab that one too, but you can check them out in the link below. Handmade in Kajang, Malaysia, bro. Finally, we have some iPad stands for some hands-free iPad Pro entertainment, and I'm gonna start with the cheapest one, which is this aluminum brandless one, a brandless tablet stand for 48 ringgit and 60 cents. It's pretty sturdy and does the job, but you can't really use it with a case because of how slim the bottom holders are. As you can see, if you put your iPad on with a case, it won't fit. So there you go, pretty simple. Next, we have this nameless table-mounted stand for 99 ringgit. If you want a little bit more flexibility and reach when you're using it on a desk, as you can see, you just clamp it on like that. Works pretty well. But make sure that you tighten these joints with the included Allen key, because the iPad Pro is quite heavy. You just need to stretch this out and you can put your iPad in like so. Pretty handy to have, and you can also use it in portrait mode if you want to. See, it holds it pretty well. It works well as well. 99 ringgit. And finally, we have my favorite stand of the bunch, which is this magnetic one for 275 ringgit. So all you have to do is actually take your iPad Pro and just put it on. Make sure that it's oriented properly, and it will stick on the magnets at the back of your iPad like this pretty well. It also works in portrait mode and it's very smooth. To be honest, this thing is 275 ringgit, but I feel that The build quality is quite premium for a non-Apple product, and the finish is great too, and also works very smoothly. Now, of course, you must also be wondering about audio. I thought I was going to be using Bluetooth speakers and stuff like that, but the built-in speakers in the iPad Pro M1 really impressed me for the most part, so I ended up not using Bluetooth speakers. If you want some privacy, however, then feel free to pick up a pair of AirPods Pro or AirPods Max, because I think that they are still some of the better options for Apple devices for the most part, or go third-party, whatever floats your boat. In an Apple shell, it is undeniable that since the launch of N1 chips, Apple now gives us the best tablet experience, especially for content creators who want a little more performance out of their tablets. Again, these are 15 of the best accessories that I personally use every day with my iPad Pro M1, some more than others. Some are Apple products and some are not. I hope this video helps you out if you are checking out any of these products that I just mentioned. Feel free to use the links below to give us a little bit of support. Again, shout out to OtterBox for sponsoring this video. Check out the link below for a 5% off any OtterBox product, whether it be for your iPad, your iPhone, or Android, or whatever. Anything OtterBox, literally. So if you thought this video is awesome, don't forget to like and share, leave a comment down below, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. And again, my name is Shane, and I will see you in the next one. I'm Otter here.